Hey everyone, welcome to yet another SDN Community Voices. Our weekly touch point between you, the followers, and people that are part of the Service Design Network. My name is Felipe. I'm a little bit late this afternoon. I'm sorry for that. There was some technical difficulties from IN, but I'm very excited to have a big group of people today to have a roundtable about local service design communities and talk a little bit about their experience globally about building those communities. And before we jump in, I'm just very happy to ask you to ask any questions down in the comments below. We're going to have a little bit of a Q&A section by the end to answer those. So I'll just welcome everybody in and ask them to introduce themselves. So welcome everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey. So I think maybe we can go alphabetically. So let's go with Adam.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. My name is Adam B. Cochrane. I am one of the Service Design Berlin teams. And I am also the conference director for the Service Design Global Conference. And that's about it.
So Clara.
Yeah, sure. So, hi everybody. My name is Clara Villa. I'm based in Dublin, but I'm originally from Colombia. I have been in Dublin for the last 10 years, just embracing the culture, embracing the people. But I just began my career in advertising industry as a planner strategist, and then I got moved to service design just because I love experiences and making memorable experiences. So I did a master's in design innovation, and that is helping me to build my career where I am right now. So I just believe in this journey I have learned many things, but I just believe that one of the experiences that we have is just sticking with us. So we make memorable experience, just stick with us.
Great. Elizabeth?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Elisa Duarte. I'm a strategic and service designer based in Lima, Peru. And I've been in the field for roughly 10 years now, mostly as consultancy. And I'm also the co-founder of the Service Design Lima community. Thank you so much.
Then Egle?
Hi, everyone. So my name is Egle Karaliune-Jonzon, and I'm ringing in from Stockholm, Sweden. I'm a service designer, and I'm also the chapter lead for the Service Design Network Sweden. So very grateful and happy to be here with you.
Kanchan?
Hi everyone, I'm joining from Bangalore in India. I'm a senior service designer, Design It, and I'm also part of the core team at the Service Design Drinks India, which is a much larger collective, started a couple of years ago by Ananya and team. There are a lot of us who are working very hard in this community, like Sujit, Saksham, Punita, Shreya, and so many more who along the journey have been very active members. One of the initiatives that I'm pretty active in is the magazine that we launched last year called Service Design Bites, through which we're trying to bring out more case studies, voices, stories to inspire people to share learning, knowledge, and I have a mixed background in architecture, entrepreneurship, and I'm really excited to be here today and be part of this conversation. I really feel that sharing stories is a large part of co-creating a better world together, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And Nikoo?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Nikoo Javid. I'm from Tehran, Iran, and I'm a co-founder in Service Design Pulse, a community that works as a bridge between local service designers community and the global network. And anything else to say? There are a lot to say, so I'm waiting for your questions.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. Thank you very much all for coming. I think we have a diversity of different stories here, so I'm very excited also to hear a little bit more. So just to start it off, I'll just ask any of you to jump in to answer. How did you go and started working on creating these local communities, whatever you are right now?
For
There we
me,
go.
yeah, for me, it was like a hunch. I was feeling very, very lonely. It was 2014, and I was doing this new thing, this service design. I didn't know anyone in the field, so I started a Facebook event, and we got together in a local bar, and we in this first meeting we designed what the community we needed. So we planned like how often we want to get together. We designed the volunteer because our community is volunteers. So um, we rotate the the planning of the events. So yeah, it was like that. It was like a very natural thing, and then start evolving.
I saw that Adam was jumping in also to answer. Do you have something to add?
I mean, for us in Berlin, the service design community has been going on for years and years and years. So I had the ability and pleasure and privilege to jump on the shoulders of giants, Mao Riegel, Manuel Grossman, these kind of people. Martin Jordan have been running service design jams and service design drinks for years previously. So it was fantastic to come in and take over from these people, and that has since built into an amazing service design community.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting to see some places you have quite a strong presence of service design and already different things happening, service design drink, service design jam. There's a lot of different formats. And some other places maybe is not, it's quite incipient right now, right? I think, Clara, you have a little bit of that experience that you are starting there in Ireland and there's not so much other things working at the same time.
Yeah, I actually related so much with Ellie experience because our community is starting in the same way. So I was feeling lonely as a service designer in Ireland. Ireland is quite a small country, but it's very powerful country at the same time. So I just invited some people to have a chat about service design, and then I decided to post in that chat that I will be having just with two people in LinkedIn, and I was very surprised that the turnaround was like 12 people in our first meeting, and that instead has been a year and a half already, almost 2 years since we kind of like re-energized the community, because in that first meeting I realized that before pandemic they already work in a community. But just after pandemic the things become like a little bit slow, and like how the words became. So we re-energized basically the community here. Now is getting stronger, and I love the sense that now we are building more like a family. So we catch up every 2 months probably. So we have different type of kind of like events. So we have events where we invite speakers to talk about different topics related with even service design or any design topic. And we have more like informal catch-ups in a coffee chats. So, and yeah, so I really appreciate that we became more like a family. So when we have an event, we have a lot of people volunteering, and we share a lot of stories. We have people from different backgrounds. We have people working in healthcare as a doctors, and now they want to become like a service designer. So now our community is more like supportive, and we encourage people to bring any topic that they need support with. So let's say our doctor in our team, he usually has a lot of questions, obviously, because his background is not design. So we're trying to support him or support everybody who brings that topic here. So I really love how the Irish community is becoming more like a family.
And I think it's quite relatable to hear some communities that were inactive and now they're restarting. I think, Egle, you have a similar experience here in SDN Sweden.
Oh.
And she went away. I believe she had a little problem for a second with her camera, but I can share a little bit because I have been working a little bit with Egle in that sense. SDN Sweden also was inactive, I think, since 2019. So throughout COVID, it was a little bit inactive, and now Egle has been doing amazing work in Stockholm to restart it. But what about Kanchan, Nikoo? What are your experiences so far with trying to reignite a little bit or ignite in general conversations with service design?
So I'm happy to jump in. Or Nikoo, do you want to go?
It's okay. Just continue, and I will go after you.
So I think for me, it was almost a year ago when I got more involved with Service Design Drinks India. I was doing my master's in strategic design for innovation and transformation from Politecnico di Milano in Italy. And at the time, I was trying to understand and explore, okay, what's happening in India, and what is happening with the whole. I had known about service design, and I had been working in the field for a while, but I was not really connected to the larger community. And I think a friend shared with me about it, and then I know that there are different communities, across different cities. So I slowly began with starting to learn more from other people, getting to know one-on-one catch-ups, but then also joining some meetups like coffee chats, where small bunch of us get together and just talk about what's happening in life, in work, really understand the challenges that you're going through, maybe how we can support each other. And like you all have also mentioned, really warm, supportive kind of spirit. And then slowly I started getting more into organizing some of these meetups as well. Some online events such as sharing of case studies. As I learned and interacted with more people, I think I was really kind of curious to bring about like a larger conversation around some of these things, because often a lot of this is in hidden, right? A lot of the knowledge in these communities is hidden, and that was something that was like a driving force for me. And every time I would connect with someone new, we would sort of figure out, okay, how can we do this? And that's kind of also what led to the launch of the magazine Service Design Bites that I mentioned earlier. So there are of course other events that happen in different multiple initiatives, but for me personally, it's been really interesting to be part of these conversations, sometimes lead these conversations, and really sort of have these spaces where you can cross learn from each other, support each other, individually, in small groups, larger groups, right, in different ways. And that's really kind of been quite key. So the community is constantly growing, and I'm happy to see some of those faces here in the chat. Hi guys, I see you. Thanks for joining today. So really, I think that's really what I wanted to share.
Mm-hmm.
So may I share? I come from a country that service design is not officially taught in universities. So everyone who is a service designer now here has found their own way somewhere, somehow, from different backgrounds, from industrial engineering, from industrial design, from management, from physics, from information like management. So like Sude Mehnush and I, who co-founded this service design pulse, and we knew each other. We knew many people who were service design learners and practitioners, and we founded agencies. We started to do and to actually create our own ways, but still there were people around that we didn't know. And when we were hearing about them, that they were doing service design for 10 years and I was doing service design for 8 years, and I didn't know them at all. So we thought that there are some disconnections here. So we thought it was like an invisible wall. So, and this wall was not inside the local community here, also around the local community and global community. And it was an imaginary wall. There was no wall. So with this mindset that we can show ourselves first and the others that there is no wall and we can communicate. We started to actually create some reasons to start conversations between local community and global community. And it was after SDGC 2023 that we three had attended, and we tried to share our takeaways and learnings from the conference with our local community. We prepared a report of the conference in Persian, so people speaking in our language could get updated about what is what are the trends or what are the main subjects that are spoken of in service design community globally. And in 2024, we thought that why a report that is a one-way connection? We can create a two-way connection. So we started to share the takeaways from speakers in the conference on social media like Instagram and LinkedIn. And this way we shared bilingual posts. So the takeaways were both in English and Persian. So people who were speakers, people who were audiences from different countries attended the conference or not, they gathered around posts and the stories that we shared. So some mini conversations were shaped. And after that, we tried to know each other better. So we started to create a local database that is in the making of service designers here. And we also asked the esteemed speakers of the conference to ask some of our questions in a video. And they sent those videos to us. And we are editing those videos to publish. Stay tuned, we'll publish in a month. And we actually started to go beyond by asking some people who have got precious experiences in other spots in the world, like last week that we had a webinar with Ms. Jumana Matar about her experience in making social impact by teaching children design in Tanzania. So she presented her experience and a local community of designers who are active in social change or social impact lovers gathered around this conversation. And these are the things that we had initiated here. And we are trying to do more.
Yeah. I'll bring Egle back now also, but I think it's just such a great thing to hear so many different ways to do kind of the same thing, right? Like so many, like the magazine interviews, takeaways. I think the bilingual is also such an interesting thing. Reminds me about the Tasto podcast that they have in Spanish and in English. I think it really enhances the reach that we can have as a community to really work in all of those different ways. And if you would...
No, I said apologies for technical issues disappearing like this. But I think that one thing beautiful with the communities to me is that they are like really living organisms. To me, it's like a living organism, and it's sort of, it's also in this way, it's also maybe cyclical. So you mentioned, Felipe, that in Sweden we are sort of like SDN Sweden was established more than 10 years ago. It was very active and it was very needed in one way, and then maybe the activities gotten a little bit lower and more slow, but then there is the resurgence of it. So it always really comes up and down, bottom up. So this is, I think it's beautiful. And what I listened to what the others around the table said is, to me, it sort of like resonates with the fact that there always some kind of needs that among service designers in a particular area that sort of like give the energy for the community to happen. And in that sense, for instance, this need that I heard in the beginning to not feel alone and maybe to see others and to share with others, I think it's constant, no matter whether it's very active community or not. I mean, I think that's the baseline. But then maybe other needs can come up. And what I'm seeing in Sweden in our activities right now, what is very interesting is that it's not like, when the community was not active as such, that that service design didn't exist, or that there were no other communities thinking. But for us, it's very interesting to see what is the place among other communities like UX, innovation leaders, or other product design, or other communities that gather, or futures and foresight thinkers. So what is the place among these all communities that service design community can have? What kind of collaborations we can have where we are on the same, can help each other, or instead of just repeating things, and where can we be very particular about service design place and needs? So these are the questions that are interesting for us also right now.
Yeah, 100%. Do you all have a little bit of those questions also in your communities? What do you think?
Yeah, totally. Actually, our community in these years has evolved. And today our question is, how can we stay relevant, not just for the beginners in service design, but also the leads, the people that has the more experience, and people that are in other paths in their career. So this is the key thing for us now.
Just continuing from there, I think the point of questions, I think as service designers, we all love asking questions. And I think in these communities, understanding what are those burning questions that really, understanding that pulse, right? What is it that people need to understand right now? What is this search and quest? And I think just jumping off from there, I remember so in the magazine we have certain different sort of sections um, coming from or stemming from these needs and questions. So for example, there is this piece where we interview seasoned professionals in the field, understanding how their journey came into the world of service design. What are the challenges, some of the practical challenges that they face in their day-to-day? And I've been leading this part, and I've spoken to some very amazing, inspiring people in this space. And I think as much as it is about sharing with the larger community, I think for me as well, personally, it's been such a great learning experience to understand that, okay, the day-to-day for a service designer in different settings varies a lot, whether you're in a consultancy or in a startup, or what kind of a practice. And bringing those stories out, and jumping into questions like, okay, what challenges do you face? How do you convince the need for service design within your organization? How do you identify those areas of opportunity which are really day to day? Because sometimes there may be, and it depends on the maturity of the companies, the organizations, but oftentimes it's left up to us to identify and say, hey, yes, this is a product design project, but we could use a service lens here. And I think all of us have different ways of going about this in our day-to-day work, but just bringing those stories out from people who've been in the field for a while, learning from their experience, that's been something that people have found a lot of value in, and also drawn inspiration from. There are some sort of stories and case studies from young professionals who probably just finished a master's in service design somewhere in Europe, coming back to India, or in India working somewhere else. It's this kind of a melting pot of local but global perspective, where there's always this thing of contextualizing, right? What are the sort of larger questions globally, and how are we addressing them in our local context? And India being such a diverse, plural culture, with our own, design culture as well, it's amazing to see how these perspectives cross-pollinate. Um, so I think that's also something very, very interesting. Um, making invisible things visible, or sharing stories that can inspire. Like you all were saying, that feeling of, am I the only one? Am I struggling with this? How do I deal with this? Um, Sharing the struggles and sharing those questions, and just kind of being exposed, or having the space to be exposed to some of the answers from someone else, can really go a long way. I know we're in community voices, and just one more voice than your own, I feel, can bring so much comfort. And I've felt this personally, but I know also that there are people in the community who felt the same. And I would love to also know if you all have had like a similar experience. And yeah, just I'm gonna stop there.
Yeah, that's great. And I think we also have a couple of questions coming already from the audience. So I'll also use this little time to open it to any other questions that people might have to these beautiful people here in the screen. I'll start with what Katie is asking all of you is what do you want to see more in your or in other communities in 2025?
I can join if you want. So I think something that I have discovered running the community is, and for this year, we like to see a little bit more diversity. With that, I'm saying is more designers or more creative mindsets. It's just expanding, not just service designers, because another trend that I have been seeing in the market is the changing of titles of the service design. I don't know if it seems from AI just being exploded there in the world, but the title of service design apparently here in Ireland has been evolved a little bit more. So I think now is more about based on the work we are doing it, so responsibilities that we have it. So that's why I was thinking like probably we can expand this community, not just for service designers, but people who might have any interest to be service designer or learning more about service design. This is something that I probably we're going to be seeing more in 2025. A little bit more support, probably sharing more or connecting more with the community. We are already well connected, but we probably can do better. With always room for improving. And I wanted to learn more from other communities. I know that this is roundtable is good to get a little bit of knowledge what is happening in the world. So hopefully we can keep connected and sharing a little bit more. I think having those sessions is very good to know what is the sense of the word regardless with communities.
Yeah, and I would like to add that following what Egle, Kanchan, and the others said, that these communities are like living systems, like complex systems, that adding every agent in that adds the complexity. And so we can see emergence of new phenomena that we could not see before. So if our communities are related, and you can listen to it as an invitation to get to be more connected. And thank you, Felipe, for gathering all of us here today around this round table, so we can get connected more, and the experience in our own communities will be enriched in this way, and we can see something that we could not see before. And it creates kind of collective wisdom, and this collective wisdom and experience can take us to places that we could never reach there alone. That is what I wanted to say.
Yeah, it's definitely compounding. You add it up and then you learn more from other people, and little by little you start building this community. Anybody else? Adam, Elizabeth, or Egle to this question?
I mean, 2024 was a really good year for us. We actually got funding from the Berlin government to support design communities in their growth. So they gave out a bunch of funding to communities across the board. So product design, holistic design, a lot of different communities we got funding. And that really helped level up the amount of engagement that we had across the board. So we had a huge summer party. We had a lot of leadership brunch. We had engagement in terms of different events throughout the way, but also documentation. And this was really, really helpful. Sadly, Berlin government isn't financially doing well in 2025 and they've had to cut budget. However, I hope that the budget for 2024 and these practices can continue. One thing that's been really, really great is collaboration, I would say, across the different design disciplines and different design events and sharing. And I would like to see that more as well. We have a lot of different collaborators from product design specifically or other types of design ops and led by design. We have communities and we look to collaborate there as well. And what I would like to see is more generosity from companies and organizations that see the benefit in supporting communities, not because they get something out of it, because it's a good thing to do. So I would also like to see that within Berlin being supported more. And I guess the senior engagement is something that I would also like to see in terms of how do we level up and empower senior leaders in the organization to also share their voices.
And Elizabeth?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So our community has evolved alongside the context. So we started in a time where the role of service design wasn't clearly understood. So now with job positions and people has careers developed in the field, actively developing, there's still so much. So we often reflect of the role of the service designer, questioning ethical issues and bringing the conversation to the table. And in this stage, we recognize the need of economic sustainability. There are plenty of ideas in the works. Here, not many communities have survived the pandemic, and it took a significant toll on us as well. Now we are regaining momentum to relaunch the community with a focus on engaging senior designers for support and reinforcement. So it's very important for us, like this year, is to relaunch the efforts and to support like the service design Lima community to the new needs that the service designers have in this context.
That's great. And Egle?
Yeah, I mean, I can actually sign up for many things that have been said, especially with like more engagement and participation from the various levels of designers in this community. But one thing that's like when you want to see more in terms of that it doesn't exist, or you would like to have it even more of that. So I think that it's on the positive way, because we do feel a lot of engagement and interest from the community in the events that we are organizing, and also boldness to think about the future and the strategic role that service design can play in building our future. And one of the things that we're doing now, for instance, we're organizing an event about foresight and futurist thinking tools that service designers use or could use in their work. So we are practically doing that, but I would probably even see more that the community really would take in these kind of approaches, that we have the power to shape the profession, to shape the field, and to also educate others about our field, so that we can get a more prominent and more strategic places around where, you know, the decisions are made about things that matter for us in our. So I think that this kind of boldness I would like to, and these kind of conversations I would like to see more of. But this is more of a like a positive. It's already kind of like there, but what could even be more of that? Yeah.
I think so. It's great to end in a positive either way. So I think this is also coming to the end of our time. Time flies. I think there's a lot of very good stories that we could keep on going here. But I thank you very much for your time, for being here, and also for everybody that joined us online and ask any questions.
Thank you so much for this time.
Thank
Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Felipe,
and
for
everyone.
having me.
Thank you.
And it was lovely to interact with you all. Thanks, everyone, for joining.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
And to everybody that joined us online, thank you very much for all your interactions, for your patience, and also for your excitement. I think it was such an interesting story, such an interesting session today to see and hear so many of those different stories. As a lot of people mentioned, we really grow this community by people, right? So the people that are here in the roundtable, but also the people that are you guys seeing us online and interacting. So thank you very much. Please follow us on the social media channels to stay tuned of any future SDN Community Voices episodes. And I hope to see you all next Thursday for another SDN Community Voices. Thank you very much and have a good weekend. Bye.